Hello and welcome to the Private Practice Podcast. I'm Dr. Brooklyn Storme, and with nearly 30 years experience in the industry, I'm really excited to share practical insights, valuable wisdom, and all the tools that you need to build a thriving private practice. So whether you're a counsellor, psychologist, social worker, or play therapist, this podcast is all about keeping it real with stories, strategies, and all the support you need to help you flourish in business. We're going to be embracing a mind, business, spirit approach, diving into honest conversations that will uplift your practice and soul. And if you haven't already, come and join us in the Counsellors Connect Australia Facebook group. It's totally free and you'll find a warm, supportive community of like-minded professionals. So go grab your favorite drink, your journal, a pen, get cozy, and let's dive into the mind, business, spirit approach to private practice that you've been looking for. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Private Practice Podcast. Thank you very, very much for being here. I'm just going to dive right in. I promised that I'll give you an update as to the revenue situation for the business because, well, if you're new to the show, welcome. But I think maybe about 6 weeks ago now, I doubled my income in my private practice, and I've been giving little updates each week as to whether or not it's been a fluke or whether or not I've actually been able to maintain it. And I'm so excited to say that it's been well and truly maintained and even exceeded by 50% on top of that. That was, I think, last week. That was last week. This week, it's not going so great because I think last week I was so busy and preoccupied, which is a lesson in itself. And so I don't know how it's going to go this week, but I kept the momentum for 6 weeks. It hit, as I said, it hit. So I doubled the income. And then the last week it was like another 50% on top of that. I have been documenting everything so that I can look back and say, okay, let's create a repeatable process from here. What did I do? How did I do it? And then I want to get it back again because, as I said, this week, it's a totally different story. But you'll hear why in a moment. So I want to figure out what's my repeatable process, put that in place, get it back to that double again, and which I know I can do. I know I'm more than capable of that now because I've done it 6 times already. So I know I can do it. It's just a matter of me now. Like the universe has said, okay, Brooklyn, here's the map, here's the plan. So it's whether or not I was paying attention and can pick up that map and that plan and get myself from point A to point B again. So that's what I'll be doing later on this week when I've got some time. Why did it all go a little bit pear-shaped this week? I'll tell you why. So I was very blessed to be nominated for awards and also to be a finalist, as you know. And the awards ceremony was Thursday last week. Now, leading up to that, of course, I was at the Gold Coast. I live in Melbourne, in Australia. I needed to get flights. I booked return flight through Virgin Airways, and this is nothing bad about Virgin, by the way. This is just my experience. So, I did that, and then a couple of days later I received an email from them saying, hey ho, we need to let you know we've cancelled your flight, but don't freak out because we've put you on another one, right? So I was thinking, well, no, that's not going to work for me because I've got to pick Buddy up from babysitting at a certain time. So I had to give them a call and just see if they could put me on an earlier flight. They were able to do that. And even though it was their fault, they were still going to charge me for this change of flight because they'd already put me on another one without discussing it with me. They'd already put me on another one. So they were wanting to counter it as me changing my mind about changing the flight. I was like, no, you're not going to do that to me. You just put me on one without discussing it with me. No, I'm not paying that fee. Anyway, so it was like made me feel like quite uncomfortable. I wasn't happy about it, but I was pleased it was all sorted out in the end. I didn't have to pay that fee, or so I thought. And then I got the ticket for the other flight, so it was all fine, right? And it all fitted in with Gabe's babysitter. She was able to accommodate that. And then I got an email from her a couple of days later, just wanting to confirm things with me about Buddy's pickup time. And she said, yes, just confirming that you're going to be dropping him off at this time on Thursday. Okay, sorry about that. The gardener has just turned up, and it's like this team of men, and they're all on ride-on mowers with whippersnippers and everything. And it's like crazy town here. So I just had to pause the podcast and put on headphones. So I don't know if you can hear all the gardening equipment in the background. Hopefully you can't. Anyway, I'll just continue on. So she sends me this email saying, oh yeah, just confirming that you're dropping Buddy off at this time on Thursday, but you're picking him up at 8:30 a.m. on Friday. And I wrote back to her, I said, no, that's like impossible. I can't be back there for 8:30 a.m. on Friday because, as you know, I'm going to the Gold Coast for an event on Thursday night. And then we had to figure out what are we going to do. Anyway, she was able to make arrangements for me where I could pick Buddy up in the afternoon, but it had to be 4 p.m, no later. Now, the return flight that I was on was, of course, coming back after 4 p.m. So then I had to go into Virgin, change my return flight, and I got a return flight that was leaving at, I don't know, 10 or 11, so that I could be back in Melbourne for, I think, 2 o'clock or 2:20, and then that would give me an hour and a half, because it's about 90 minutes to Caroline's place, and I figured I'd be there at 4 on the dot. So I was like well pleased with myself. Anyway, while I was processing the payment for, because it was another fee for changing the flight, so I had to process the payment for that, which was quite a surprise because I got charged nearly a whole new flight. It was $253. The original flight was, I think, $230, and then to change it I had to pay $250, and then I had to pay $99 on top of that. It was like all crazy. Anyway, I did it, but my higher self said, hey, you should screenshot this page that says the payment was successful. And I thought, okay, higher self, I'll do that right now. So I did. And then my higher self said, take a photo of that with your phone as well. And I thought, okay. And I was just like allowing myself to be guided. And I thought, all right, I will. I mean, I never do that. And then I took also a screenshot of the page saying it was all successful. And then I checked my email and the new tickets were there. I took screenshots of the new tickets. I printed them off. I was feeling like pretty good about it until about it was either the day before, it could have been the day before or the day before the day before. And what happened was I got an email from Virgin saying, hey, so exciting about your flight. Why don't you check in online now for your flight? And I thought, yeah, good idea. I will do that. So, and this was late in the day. I was packing up and I thought I'll just check my email to see if there was anything about the flights and check in. And there was. So that's why I checked my email. As you know, I only check my email first thing in the morning and then I don't check it again throughout the day. So I clicked the little button that says check in now, went to check in, and it said, "Badum, you cannot check in. You must call us. There's an issue with your payment." And I thought, no, there's not. I've got a receipt and I've got my tickets. And I already could start to feel myself, like the scarcity mindset was kicking in. And I thought I was over survival mindset, which I think I mostly am, but this kind of triggered me because then I got really antsy and I was like, no, you're not taking my money. This is like my self-talk. Oh, they're going to take my money. Oh, oh, they're going to stuff up my flight. And I spiraled really quickly because it was so close to the flight and the event. And anyway, I rang them up. and they were telling me that the payment hadn't gone through, and I said yes, it has. I said I've got a bank statement here showing that the payment's pending. I've got the money's out of the account, says pending. I said I've got a confirmation. I've got screenshots of that on my phone and my desktop, and I've got my tickets. So I think there's something wrong at your end. And he was like, no, ma'am, didn't go through, so we've taken you off the flight. I was like, but you can't take me off the flight. I need to be on it. And anyway, I was on the phone to him, and it was like we were just going around in circles. And he's saying, but you haven't paid for it. I'm saying, but I have. I've got all these confirmations here. And he's saying, no, ma'am, we haven't received the money, so you're off the flight. I was like, no, this can't be. Like, I've paid with I got, like, you know how you get like the credit card with your business bank account? It's like Visa debit or something. Mine's a MasterCard. I said, no, I've paid with that. The money's out. It says that it's out and that it's pending, the payment's processing, and I've got all my confirmation. So what are you talking about? No, I'm going to be on that flight. He said, no, you're not. Taking you off because we haven't received the payment. And so as I said, we were just going round and round in circles, which was making me more anxious. I was escalating. I was trying to maintain like a level of calm and professionalism, but I don't know. I just kind of lost it. I was so anxious. Anyway, I ended up saying to him that I wanted to get on another flight and that we'd sort all of this out earlier, and that I was expecting to be refunded, and I wanted an apology from them because they've taken me off this flight. Anyway, the only other flight that they had available was a flight for like 6 a.m. So anyway, I had to accept it, didn't I? But that meant that I was going to be flying into the Gold Coast and arriving at the Gold Coast at 3:30. The award ceremony was at 5:30. It was going to take me till 5 p.m. to get to the accommodation. I got to the accommodation actually at 5:15. I flew up to the room after check-in, and I quickly got changed. And of course, nothing was cooperating. My eyeliner was all wiggly because I was so nervous and anxious. And my hair wasn't cooperating. So I ended up doing a like Princess Leia side bun, but low, like a low side bun. I've never done that in my life, but here I am, 49 years old, with a Princess Leia bun on the side. And I'm wearing like all these new clothes that I hadn't tried on properly, and the pants were too long, and my little high heels, I got these gorgeous high heels. They weren't what I wanted, but they were close. I wanted like a nude high heel that had all these little Swarovski crystal diamonds on. You know the ones, they look really sparkly, like you're not wearing a shoe, like but there's just all this glitter and glamour, because my pants were black and my top was black, and they were just both very plain. And then I just had a black crystal necklace that was tourmaline. I was trying to ward off bad energy because, well, not bad energy, I shouldn't say that, but because I suffer from really significant social anxiety, plus I'm level 1 autistic, which means for me, I'm really great with things like business, could do business all day long, but struggle with social interaction. Like, my idea of networking is, you know, standing in the corner at the back of the room, eating off the platter and not going and talking to anybody, right? That's, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to behave. I don't know all the things. I'm just really in person. Can't do it. I don't like small talk. I would much rather dive straight into a deep conversation. So yeah, it's like, get me out of here. But anyway, and then I got down to the conference without tripping over myself, which was fantastic. And anyway, for the 5:30 start, and guess what? It didn't start till 6:30 because they changed the time and only notified about half of us. So I'm there, me and my anxiety, there, and just sort of standing. So we're just all standing in this lobby / foyer. It was held at the Sharks Conference Centre, so I don't know if you've been there before. So I know some of you do know it, but for those of you who don't, there's a lobby, and then there's like 2 or 3 lots of big double doors, and they were all closed, so we couldn't get inside, and we're all standing there in black tie gear, and there were a lot of people that had brought their team with them. But I was, for what I could see, I was the only one that was a solo practitioner. and I didn't know what to do. And I was there, and I text my friend Kim, and I text my mum, and I was like, this is really awkward. I think I'm going to go back to my room. Why did I come here? Yeah, I'm going to go back to my room and I'll just sit the whole thing out. I can't do this. And so I was just texting them like that the whole time. And then a lady came over to me and she goes, you're a single too, aren't you? And I said, I am. And she goes, hi, I'm Jane. And I said, hi, I'm Brooklyn. And then we started to talk. And guess what? Turns out, would you believe, we were both retired psychologists. I know, can you believe that? And guess what else? We both left for similar reasons, two-tier system or the drama with Medicare, everything. So that was like so cool. Like, what are the chances? And even Jane said, the universe brings the right people together at the right time, doesn't it? I was like, I was going to swear then, I was going to say H, yeah. And I just felt like I found my person, like in this great big sea, because I don't know, I want to say there were maybe, when you got inside, there were all round tables, with the big round tablecloth on them and all the glassware and the candles and the flowers in the middle and things like that. But it was like, I think there must have been about 10 seats at every table, and there would have absolutely been about 20 tables. So that's how big it was. It was like quite a do. And anyway, it was a little bit disorganized. Like, there wasn't a seating chart. So Jane and I were walking around trying to find our tables, but we were clinging onto each other for dear life because we didn't want to be separated because we'd found our person. And she was sharing with me, like, she was diagnosed with Asperger's and ADHD. I don't have the ADHD. I don't know. Maybe I do. I don't think I do, but anyway. And so we're clinging on to each other for dear life, and we had to walk around every single table because each table had a name tag on it, and you had to try and find your name tag. And anyway, at one point we got separated, and she must have found her table before me because, of course, I was one of the last ones walking around. After everyone was seated, I was still doing laps, and it was to the point of being embarrassing. People were making comments like, oh, third time back around, and stuff like that. People were saying to me, oh, here's $200, because you passed, go again, And that was just making my anxiety even worse, even though they're being good-natured and friendly about it. So, and then I was really worried that it was all going to start and I would not have found my seat right there. And anyway, eventually I did find my seat. I was at the singles table with other people who were solo practitioners. We didn't have teams. And anyway, it was really lovely because I sat next to somebody who was just a beautiful, beautiful person, a beautiful, beautiful soul, and we got along really, really well. But I didn't speak to any of the other 8 people at my table because I was just so, anxious. Anyway, and so we get there, and I was really, really lucky because I won an award, and the award was Business Coach of the Year. And I was so, 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 so proud of myself. And my award was at the very end. It was, I think, the second last award of the whole entire evening. This one, I was nominated for 2 other awards, but I didn't get those, but this one I did get. And I'd been watching everybody else go up on the stage to receive their awards, and I was freaking out because apparently I had to give a speech, and they hadn't told us about giving a speech. Anyway, I wasn't expecting to win the award, so it was okay, but there was part of me that said, well, if you win the award, what are you going to say? And I was like, well, I don't know. Anywho, I'm watching everybody else win their awards, and they were all walking up the steps, and then you have to go and get the award. You have to hug the person, and I'm not a hugger. You have to hug the person who gives you the award. You have to hug the presenter, you have to hug the MC, you have to make a little speech, and then you have to go and hug the person who came second and the person who came third, and then there are all these photos, and then when you come off the stage, you hug people when you're coming off the stage. So it was something that I was aware of. And then anyway, they were announcing my category, and I heard somebody get placed third, and I was happy for him. And then another lady got placed second, and I was happy for her. And then they called out my name, and I was so surprised because, anyway, and I was so surprised. And I was like nearly skipping up to the stage. Like I was clapping my hands and I was literally nearly skipping. And then I was telling myself, oh my gosh, don't trip over. Your pants are too long. They're catching on your heels. Just be careful. But I was worried that they were going to move on to the next award and think that I wasn't there. So I was trying to let people know, no, I'm here. And so I was like clapping and skipping. And then I got to the stage and I'm walking up the stage. I'm just telling myself, don't trip over. And then I was all in my head about it. And I went and hugged the guy who came third. And then the two guys who presented the award, I kind of didn't know. I had this awkward moment because I was like, oh, how are they going to hug me? Is it arm over? Is it arm under? Am I putting one on the shoulder, one under the shoulder? Am I going like just around? I was totally in my head about how the hug was going to happen with these two guys. Plus, I don't like being touched. And then when I got the award, I had to then hug like the MC, and the guys who gave me the award, so it was for awards for the health and disability sector, right? So they had all these sponsors for different things, and the guys who sponsored my award were really, really lovely. They were from some company that does something. It's not funny, but they're from some company that has something to do with toilets. And anyway, they were really, really lovely guys, and they were talking about how how important it is to get a leg up by having some support when you first start your business, and that the journey can be so much quicker with the help of a good coach, and that's why they wanted to sponsor my category. Anyway, so I go up to the podium. After all this awkward hugging, which probably made them feel very awkward too. And then I didn't know what to say. I nearly burst into tears because of fear, but also gratitude. And I said, I don't know what to say. I wasn't expecting to win this. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for sponsoring the category. And then I just went blank. And then I made like a really bad joke. And I said something along the lines of, I don't know what to say, but I guess you could start with, I'm flushed with joy to win this award. It was such a bad joke. And some people laughed, but most people didn't. And then I was like, in my head, and then I really didn't know what to say. So then I just thanked the organizer. I acknowledged the other finalists. I thanked everybody in the room for the important work that they're doing. And then I said, thank you again. I think I just kept saying thank you, basically. And then I walked off the stage, and I got called back because I forgot to they give you a trophy, and you accept that, and then they give you like a little gift bag. It's a swag bag. They give you that, and it's got some goodies inside it, right? So then I got called back, hey, you forgot to get your thing. And the MC sort of met me in the center of the stage, and then I was going to walk off again, and they were like, no, you've got to have your group photo taken. So yeah, came back, did that. And then I was shaking. I could not stop shaking from the nerves. I couldn't stop shaking. My legs were like jelly. My hands were sweating. I was worried I was going to drop everything. And I had to figure out how on earth I was going to get down these steps, holding everything and trying not to catch the heels of my shoes on the pants that were too long as I was walking down the steps that didn't have a handrail at a health and disability conference, which is all about accessibility, of course. Anyway, I managed to get down okay, and then people were like wanting to hug me and everything, but I was just dodging it, and I just wanted to get back to my seat. And I got back to my seat, and then there was so much anxiety in my body that my head and neck started twitching. It was like I was getting all these like little electric shocks. My hands were shaking so badly that I couldn't even hold anything, and I just put them down on my lap. I said to the girl sitting next to me that I'd made friends with, wow, it's such a big thing, isn't it, going up on stage? Because she'd gone up to get an award as well. She won an award too. So she knew what it was like. And anyway, she was just like, are you okay? I was like, yeah. And I really wanted to drink my soda water, and I couldn't even hold the glass because my neck kept twitching. It was, I don't know what was wrong. It wasn't, I don't think it's a tick, but it was just like it kept twitching, like that, just the top of my neck and my head just kept twitching. It was so embarrassing because the more I wanted it to stop, the more pronounced it became. And it was just like, then it became a thing. But anyway, eventually the adrenaline was released and I calmed myself down. And then what did I do then? Oh, and then the night nearly finished, and that was all good. And there was a little photo booth. So my new friend and I decided we were going to get our photos taken because we're going to do some collabs, which is good. And we thought that might be a fun way to promote our collabs, by saying, hey, this is how we met and we're both award winners. So you can, like, trust us, like we know what we're doing. So we thought that would be a fun thing to do. So we did that. And again, even over at the photo booth, right, there was queues of people waiting to have their photos taken, which was totally fine. But then because I knew that people were watching us, I felt very self-conscious, or my anxiety came back, and the photo booth takes 4 photos, and all these other people, they were just going with it. They were just having fun. They were doing, oh, let's do a sexy photo. Oh, let's do a fun photo. Oh, let's do a cheeky photo. Oh, let's do a very professional photo. Oh, let's do you know what I mean? All of that. But because I was in my head, I just kept doing the same pose for all 4 shots. And of course, one of them, I've got my eyes closed. So yes, this is what it's like going to a big public event when you have autism and social anxiety. And then anyway, it finished, I think maybe about, it finished 9:45. And they said, okay, now we're going to open up the floor and everybody can dance. And I thought, no, we're not. I'm out of here. I'm going. So I went and said goodbye to the 2 women that I befriended. And then I managed to make my way up to the accommodation where I was staying. And it wasn't fantastic accommodation. They called it a queen compact, right? And I got there, I opened up the room. It's a really, really small room, and I wanted to have a shower, get the hairspray out of my hair, the makeup off my face, rinse off the night, want to have a shower. And then I just wanted to have something to nibble, and I wanted a drink because I hadn't drunk any alcohol. They kept serving alcohol all night long, but I never drank it. I just kept drinking soda water. I wanted to keep myself nice. And, hey, maybe, just between you and I, maybe if I had had a drink, I might have performed a little bit better. Who knows? But anyway, so I'm reading the in-room menu, and I'm like, oh, there's nothing really healthy here because I'm trying to eat whole foods at the moment, okay? So I'm like, oh, there's nothing really healthy here. Maybe wedges. And I thought, no, I don't want those because they're going to be deep fried. So I thought, well, I'm not really hungry, but I would like a drink. Now that I'm back at the room, I think I'll have a gin and tonic, and that'll be a nice nightcap because I've got to get up in 3 hours. Well, not quite 3 hours, but anyway, and I had to get up early. I had to book an Uber for 3 a.m. So I knew I didn't have that long once I'd showered and everything to wind down, I guess, because I meditate every night now. I go to sleep with a meditation too, but I was too keyed up. It was such a big night, such a big event. I was too keyed up. I really just wanted to go to sleep, but I had to wait for my body to be ready to go to sleep. Do you know what I mean? It was like that. So I thought maybe I'll get a little gin and tonic, and I went for gin and tonic because I thought that would be the most high vibe drink, because I thought I could put some lemon in it or some lime in it, and I thought, and it's clear. I don't know what I was thinking. But anyway, I ring room service and it's just ringing out. So then I rang reception downstairs and they said, oh, room service closes at 9:30. And I was like, but it's only 9:45. So yeah, I couldn't get a drink. And then I thought, that's okay. I'll make myself a cup of herbal tea. So I was looking in all of the cupboards for the microwave and the toaster and the kettle and everything, and I couldn't find anything. So I ring reception again and I said, oh, I think somebody forgot to put the kettle and the little tray of, you know how when you go away, there's usually those things. There's a microwave, a toaster, a kettle, and they normally give you like some kind of acrylic container that's got some sad looking sugars in it and some sachets of tea, some coffee, or they might even have like, sorry, just had to hit pause on that because Buddy started barking at the gardener, but they might even have like a little, Nespresso dupe machine that, like maybe even one of the oldie versions that makes coffee or something. So I call up reception. I'm like, hey, somebody's forgot to put all this stuff in my room. Can you please bring it up post haste because I need a hot drink? And he was like, oh no, your room doesn't come with those things. And I was like, how can it not come with those things? Like, I've paid for a queen room here and there's a fridge that's empty. There's not even a little UHT milk. There's no bottle of water in it. There's no, how sometimes they do like the Arnott's Scotch finger biscuits in the individual sachets. There was none of that. And you're telling me that I can't even have a hot drink? And he's like, no. And I said, okay. I said, well, can I at least have a glass so that I can get some water out of the tap? And then he said to me, no, ma'am, because the kitchen's closed. So unbelievable. I couldn't. And then I was like, wow, I'm really thirsty because I barely ate anything and I barely drank anything because of the anxiety. I for the entree, we got three, it was lovely, but it was freezing cold. It was three little bits of beef strips over the top of a small salad. That was the entree. As I said, it was lovely, but it was stone cold. I don't know if it was meant to be chilled or if it was just that way because I've been sitting out for so long. The main was a piece of salmon with some salad, which was lovely. And then the dessert I didn't eat because it clearly wasn't whole food. And it wasn't anything that I enjoy eating anyway. I think it was some kind of, it was trying to be like a chocolate tart with some fruit on it, and it had that aerated cream. It wasn't like, I'm a cream snob, okay? I don't like cream from a can. I like cream that has been whipped. You know what I mean? Like, I like a dollop of cream. I don't want the fuzzy cream that comes out of the squirty can. It's not, anyway. So I didn't eat the dessert. So I was like hungry and thirsty. What could I do? So luckily for me, I had probably about half of a little baby Mount Franklin. You know how you get them from the airport and they're like the mini sizes? I had about half of one of those, and I really just wanted to down the whole lot, but I told myself, no, don't, just sip on it. But I drank that, and then I went to go and get it from the tap, and I thought, no, I'm just going to go to bed. I don't want to be up all night peeing because I've got to get up soon anyway. And then I just tried to go to sleep and it took forever because, yeah, I was so keyed up from the big night. And then I got a Uber at 3. So that was the awards night. And I was just so proud of myself for going. I was so proud of myself for going. And I was so proud to win the award, and I couldn't wait to tell everybody. And yeah, I was just really chuffed about the whole thing. I was so excited. And I was really proud of myself for going too, because it was such a battle. It was such a challenge, and it meant that I really had to stretch myself and go outside of my comfort zone. And I was just really, just so proud of myself for being able to do it. Yeah, and like even just thinking about it now, I want to cry for how proud of myself I am, because honestly, I run this whole entire business from the spare bedroom at my mother's house. So everything I do is behind the screen. I never interact with people in real life, which is kind of how I want it too. But you know what I mean? So to actually go off and put myself in a room with nearly 2,000 other people, it was a big deal. And anyway, when all this stuff was happening with the flights, I tried to tell myself, lean into your faith, girl. The universe is organising something for you. There was a reason you weren't meant to be on that flight. But I was quite dismissive of that because I was caught up in my own anxiety about it. And then I told my mum what happened, and she said, oh gosh, not again. Like, they're not changing the flight again? And I said yes. And she said, don't worry, there's a reason that you weren't meant to be on that flight. And guess what? When I got back into Melbourne, which was, I think, nearly 9 o'clock, because we had been quite delayed. We're delayed at both ends on this particular flight. So our flight was meant to leave, I think, 6 a.m. or something like that, get into Melbourne at 8:20 or something. But there was quite a big delay for us getting on, which was annoying because I could have slept a little bit longer. And then there was a delay when we arrived. We had to stay on the tarmac and all this kind of stuff. And then when I got off the plane, I went and got my car. I was driving home, eventually got home. And I saw all this stuff on the news about Microsoft and this big global outage with Microsoft and CrowdStrike, and how it had taken out airports, banks, supermarkets, all this kind of stuff. Oh, and guess what else? On the way home, I said to my mum, do you want me to go to Ackland Street and pick you up some pastries? And she was like, yes, that would be great. So I went to pick her up some pastries from there, and she said to me, what are you going to get? Because I was bringing them home for her for breakfast, or mid-morning tea or lunch or something. And I said, I'm not going to get anything. I'm going to stop into Woolies on the way home, and I'm going to get a hot chicken and some spinach leaves and a few wraps and the avocado and some tomatoes and stuff like that. Like, I just want to eat like healthy food. Anyway, I got to Woolies at Seaford on the way home, and I just had the sense, get a trolley. Now, the last time I went into a supermarket and did a, air quotes, big shop was probably pre-COVID. During COVID, I started getting used to doing online shopping, and I've just stuck with it ever since because I've built my life around it, and it's so much easier for me. And I'll only go into a supermarket to get one or two things now. So the fact that I had the feeling, no, you should do a big shop, was I just thought, okay, if I've got the feeling to do it, I'm going to do it. And so I did this big shop. I got so much fruit, so much vegetables. I got soda water. I got ham. I got chicken, everything, right? I got ingredient. I got coconut flour, almond flour or almond meal, so that I can make, food over the weekend because I want to start cooking and all this sort of stuff. I went through the checkout. I didn't even do self-checkout. Went through the big checkout. I had bags and bags and bags of shopping. When I came home, I started bringing it all inside. My mum said, oh my gosh, did you go to the supermarket? I said, yes. She goes, that's not like you. I said, I know. I said, just had the feeling that I was there and may as well. So anyway, it was after I finished unpacking the shopping, I made myself a wrap. I was going to say sandwich, but I made myself a wrap, made her some lunch. I said, let's just go inside and sit down, watch TV. It's been I've been up since 3. I just need to relax now. And turned on the TV, and that's when we saw all the stuff about Microsoft and CrowdStrike and the airports being closed and the supermarkets were closed and all this stuff was closed. And I thought, oh my gosh, it's true. And my mum looked at me and I looked at my mum, and then at the same time we were like, oh my gosh, everything happens for a reason. I was not meant to be on that flight. And, my higher self was looking out for me, saying, do you know what, kiddo, you better go and get yourself some food because we don't know how long these shops are going to be down for. Right? Isn't that so cool? That's so amazing. I know. I love it so much. Do you? Anywho, this was the story of the awards, and I just wanted to share it with you. But I guess what I'm going to do from here, because it's actually Tuesday today, and I've just realized as I'm recording this, my plan was to record the Wednesday podcast today, which is what I thought I was doing, but I'm only just realizing now that this has stretched on, this episode, and it's not a business episode with the bite-sized bits. So I'll publish this one on Saturday for you, and I will record another one today with the business bite-sized stuff on it for you. And I've got so much to share, lots and lots of nuggets. The other thing that I learned about myself as a result of going to the conference was it was really, 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 really good because speaking to different people who work in health and disability, so the people there from NDIS, there were doctors, there were nurses, there were psychiatrists, there were social workers, there were OTs, there were organisations that work in disability, there were NDIS organisations. You get the gist, right? There were people, all different areas within the health and disability sector were there representing. Okay, and one of the things that came through was, and this actually came through from Jane, who's now my new friend. She was like, "Oh my gosh, you got to stop calling yourself a coach." And I was like, "Why?" And she said, "Well, none of these people are going to give you any respect if you're calling yourself a coach, because with respect, anyone can call themselves that." And I said, "Yeah, I know, but I've got 4 qualifications in coaching and this, that, and the other." And I found myself justifying why I'm calling myself a coach. She's like, "It doesn't matter, Brooklyn. Like, they're not going to take you seriously if you're calling yourself that. You've got to come up with a different name." And it was like hard to hear, but at the same time I really appreciated it. And it kind of threw me off though, because for the rest of the night, every time somebody bumped into me in the toilets or something like that, they were like, "What do you do?" And I was like, "I'm I help private practice owners start and market their business." They're like, "Oh, cool," because I didn't know what my title was, you see. Anyway, got a title now, just calling myself a private practice specialist. It was interesting because there were, oops, just lost my earbud. Do you find with the Apple earbuds that they just randomly pop out of your ear? I think it happens when you talk, right? And your jaw's moving up and down. It must change how it's all sitting or something. Anyway, there are a couple of other people there who work with private practice as well. And so one of them refers to herself as a guru. And I was like, oh, I couldn't, like, I was just cringing. I just thought that might be great for her. And I'm pleased for her if that's what she's landed on. But I could never call myself a guru. Like, and I've got a PhD, right? And I've got 30 years experience and I've done some amazing stuff. But I'm not going to call myself a guru. It just, no, not going to work. Um, yeah, and somebody else just called themselves a professional, and I thought, okay, but that didn't feel good for me either. So I've landed on private practice specialist, and that feels more like me, and that feels like it's an elevation from coach. So then I came home and I wanted to make changes straight away to how I run the business. So I made some changes to my website straight away. I've shut down my $7 membership, just shut it down. It's not aligned with me anymore. If anybody's in the $7 membership, I will still continue to serve you there. You will still have access to everything. I'm just not enrolling new people into that $7 membership. That's done and dusted. The Makers is done and dusted. If you're in it, amazing. You've still got access to everything, and I will still be available to serve you if you want me to look at your designs, support you with selling your digital products, help you out with Etsy, all those kinds of things. I'm here for it. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just not letting new people in. So I've shut down a whole lot of things. I've deactivated a whole lot of products off my Thrive Cart store. I've taken a whole lot of things off my website. I've taken all the mentoring off the website. That's gone. Not going to do that anymore. What else? I think I left the supervision up, but I'm in two minds about whether or not I'll continue to do that. I think I will, because I don't only supervise counsellors. I supervise, there's two doctors that I supervise. There's a couple of social workers. There's a couple of psychs that I supervise. And one of the areas that I specialise in with supervision is situations where my clients, who are practitioners, have been reported. So they've been reported to APRA, they've been reported to Health Commission, they've been reported to NCAT, VCAT, whoever. That's one of my areas. So I think I probably will still keep that up, but I probably need to speak more into what I specialise in and only start working with those clients instead of just being open to everybody for supervision. And the other things that I'm doing too, what else? Change the name on my Instagram and my Facebook to the private practice specialist from the private practice coach, and then realised I need to be doing more with my free communities. So I've got Counsellors Connect Australia with Dr. Brooklyn Storme, and then I had the other one, which was ACPPO. I changed the name of ACPPO to allied health professionals in private practice, and that just feels so much more aligned. I made logos for both of the groups. I changed the colours for both of the groups. So CCA is now in my brand colours, so it's more associated with me. I put my photo on the banner, so it's more associated with me. With the allied health professionals in private practice, I made a logo there. I changed the colours there to be more in line with everything. I also started the Private Practice Guild of Australia, and that's really exciting, and I'll talk to you more about that over coming weeks. Just working on the website at the moment and letting you know what that looks like. It's not like ACA or PACFA. This is something that is for the industry of private practice owners. So not specific to counsellors, social workers and psychologists, but specific to private practice and anybody who has a private practice in health and wellness. So look out for that. I will give you more information about that. So I did that. And then the other thing that I'm doing is I'm really tightening up my free groups. So I'm looking at doing monthly workshops for the free groups, having a better onboarding process for new members for the free groups, just really tightening it up so that I can be more present, be more involved, give more back to both of these communities. That's what I'm really going to be focusing on over the next little while. So this week and next week are going to be about tidying things up, and again, it's planting seeds like I was a few weeks ago, right? And we all know what happened as a result of planting those seeds. So this is going to happen again. The business is going to have another big up level again, but for this week and next week, it's going to be about, being a little bit quiet on social at the moment, just while I'm getting these things sorted out. And I've got a really fun extra little offering for anyone who's interested as well, but I will talk with you more about that later on. And actually, you're going to see it on my social anyway, because it's social media based. And and yesterday we had the very first call for the More Clients program, and it was so much fun. I love these women. Oh my gosh, they are so inspiring, and they are just crushing it. And I have to keep saying to them, guys, slow down, because they're just conquering all this marketing stuff. It's like, I don't know, something's changed. They've gone from being apprehensive about it and avoiding it, or feeling overwhelmed by it. And now they're just like, and look what else I've done, Brooklyn. Oh, and look what else I've done, Brooklyn. Look what else I've done, Brooklyn. I'm like, I can't keep up. I'm just like, whoa, ladies, stop, take a breath. They are so excited. And the content that they're generating and the designs that they're creating and the progress that they're making. They've been in the group. They joined 2 weeks ago during the free workshop, but our classes started yesterday. So they've had 2 weeks to sort of dive in, and dive in they have. And I could not be more proud of these women, and I could not be more inspired by them. They've certainly given me a kick in the pants to get a wriggle on with putting more effort into my own stuff as well. It's just like so contagious having this energy. It's so good. And the other thing yesterday too was we had another call for the private practice certification program, and that was so beautiful. So there were only 3 of us on the call yesterday, which is really strange and unusual. But it allowed us to go deeper and have some really open, honest conversations about things like boundaries. And so that's probably what I will record when I get off from this one. I'll record tomorrow's episode, and it's probably going to be on boundaries, because I realized it was such an important conversation. So I'll go and do that, but just so much fun. But I will let you go. I think I've talked your ear off now, probably. I want to say thank you so much for listening to the podcast. We're quickly approaching 100,000 downloads, which just feels so good, considering that this podcast is a niche within a niche within a niche within a niche within a niche. It's not like we're talking about a big popular topic here, like, I don't know, anxiety that affects like every single person on the planet just about. This is a niche within a niche within a niche within a niche within a niche, and I'm just so thankful to have so many listeners. I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you to everybody for your support. Thank you to those who nominated me. Thank you, universe, for helping me be a finalist, and of course thank you for the award. And I just cannot wait to help you even more over the next year. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a beautiful Saturday. Bye for now. I really hope that you got so much enjoyment, value, and insights out of this episode today. And if you did, please feel free to go ahead and leave a review. When you leave a review, it means that more therapists can access this help and support and tools to support them in their private practice and in their journeys. Thank you so much for listening to the show. Have a gorgeous day.